If I could go write a book today, I think I would twist it and I would say celebrate the small stuff. And I think the way you find those moments that matter in the classroom and the way you continue to find fulfillment in this job is to pause and celebrate the small stuff. It's not this one cataclysmic moment. It's not that one aha that says, okay, I have fulfilled my whole career here, right? You gave a professional development to our staff, and I remember you talking about how we don't get to choose what our students come into the classroom with, right? And you gave the analogy of like it's the train and we don't know what's in the caboose or what baggage they bring. But I think when we look at our teachers, we have to remember those same things. They themselves are humans who have other factors in their lives that affect what they're coming in with. Their students come in, and we've got to find ways to help manage that. And if it is teaching us to normalize stopping and celebrating those positive moments, those moments to intentionally acknowledge the great work you see in the teachers too. So as much as we say when you think about like those aha moments, most often it's what I saw in a student or what a student said to me. I hope that as an administrator, I can help provide some of those, or tell a teacher, I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you had seen the way this child smiled when you walked away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cathy Tooley and my podcast. I'm so excited to have you back. I am so excited. I'm joined today by one of my dear friends and fellow administrative colleagues, Elizabeth Kissel. Elizabeth has been in education for 22 years. She, too, started when she was, 6 months? Or a year, because you're definitely not over 25.
I'm not.
Right. So she started, I think, at 6 months. I got started at 3, but I think Elizabeth was 6 months old when she got started. She spent 15 years as a math teacher, Dominus Ominous. I was the secondary English, and then the past 7 years as a K-8 principal. She's actually one of our school partners with the company that you can watch previous podcasts and know about that. And she's also a mom of 3 beautiful babies and married, and she loves boating and skiing and adventures, and some adventures in skiing that I've heard about recently that I will not put on this podcast because I won't do that. So today, I asked several administrators and people that I knew that were in the trenches to look over some topics, because we're doing this series called The Ripple Effect of a Teacher. So Elizabeth picked one that was called The Moments That Make It Worth It. So thank you. So clearly that topic resonated with you, right? Why?
Okay, so here's the thing. When I read that topic, and I'm going to twist just a little bit here, Cathy.
You're fine.
All right. When I read it and thought, where can we go with this? It's not a cataclysmic moment, because I sat and I can think
for sure, right? People think it's this like lightning bolt. This is why you should be here.
This is why you do it. But here's the I was actually looking at it, thinking about some younger teachers that I've mentored, right, and worked through it, and they're seeking that moment of how do I know this is where I'm meant to be, or how do we get through those tough days?
Searching validity.
So I'm going to twist this a little bit. You know the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If I could go write a book today, I think I would twist it. And I would say celebrate the small stuff. And I think the way you find those moments that matter in the classroom and the way you continue to find fulfillment in this job is to pause and celebrate the small stuff. It's not this one cataclysmic moment. It's not that one aha that says, okay, I have fulfilled my whole career here, right? It's the moment, the things I thought of were small, right? So one moment that came to mind for me, and this isn't going to sound like a beautiful moment, but it was, a student when I was teaching middle school math, student who had a lot of extra struggles on his plate, rarely made it through a full class period without needing to be removed for some behavioral issues that he was working through and challenges. And his resource teacher came to me one day and said, and it was tough. It was tough to be him, right? Mm-hmm. And we've all had those kiddos that are tough. Came to me one day and said, we had trouble getting this young man into class today, and we were just working to get him back into a classroom, and finally he agreed to go to math. And the teacher said why, and he said, she makes me feel worthwhile when I'm in there.
Ooh.
Worthwhile.
Ooh.
So here's my point in the small stuff, though, Cathy.
Ooh.
Worthwhile isn't she makes me feel like a hero. Worthwhile
or the best thing ever, or defines who I am.
Right? It's not a giant bouquet of flowers. This is a student with some pretty significant emotional dysregulation who knew he was worthy enough and valued enough when he was in my room to leave the resource room and show up.
I want to go back to something. Oh, that is exactly what this topic is. But I think, my brain is just going so fast. I think somewhere along the line, that it's exactly what you said. Someone has taught us that you don't get it or it's not right unless you have this cataclysmic, meteor moment that, is it the movies? Where are we getting that from?
I don't know. But here's the thing, and I think that sometimes people underestimate, it's grueling work, right?
It is.
I watch teachers every day who come in and they're here because they love, right?
Certainly not for the money.
No.
Right.
I wish it was. I wish they were fulfilled the way they deserve to be.
Of course.
For all that they bring to the classroom. But teachers come in and they pour their heart into what they do. They choose this field because they want to help other people. They want to give of themselves, and they give and they give and they give. And that's a hard thing to come in and do every day, right? Mm-hmm. But I think if you do that and you're seeking that one moment that says, yes, this is why I'm here, right? It's the whole, it's the journey, not the destination in the classroom.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to normalize being able to stop and celebrate those small things, being able to recognize when you have a success with a child that maybe you've been working really hard to get to. Maybe it's the shy kiddo in the back of the room who's too nervous to talk that finally walked up and asked you a question today. And it's being cognizant of that moment, the courage it took, and the relationship you had to build and foster for that child to feel comfortable enough.
Despite what they came into.
Right?
Yeah.
So I remember one of the first times you and I met, since this is our second partnership, right? Mm-hmm. So in the first school where I was principal, when we partnered with you, and that day, Cathy Tooley herself was still in the classrooms giving those PDs.
I was out there doing the professional development. Yes.
That's how I got hooked.
Yes.
You gave a professional development to our staff, and I remember you talking about how we don't get to choose what our students come into the classroom with, right? And you gave the analogy of it's the train and we don't know what's in the caboose or what baggage they bring. But I think when we look at our teachers, we have to remember those same things. They themselves are humans who have other factors in their lives that affect what they're coming in with. Their students come in, and we've got to find ways to help manage that. And if it is teaching us to normalize stopping and celebrating those positive moments.
That's it.
Celebrating the moment that someone walks up and says something positive to you, whether it's a parent who drops you a nice email and just says thank you.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Taking those moments to navigate those things and help it and celebrate.
I was just sitting here thinking, wonder what it would have looked like. Can you imagine if we had done this? I didn't. But if you're a new teacher watching this, pay attention. Wonder what it would have looked like to every day before I went home, grab a notebook and jot down 3 things that went well today. Can you imagine what that would look like 10, 20, 30 years later?
Right.
I never thought about it till just now, until you just said, because like you just said, so many teachers think that, well, the fact that he thought that my class was worthwhile, well, duh, that's the minimum I could do.
Right, minimum. But if you know the child and you've got those relationships and you know that background, from him, that was a giant hug and a bouquet of flowers, right? So it's recognizing those small things in it. You mentioned, had you jotted it down, I had a teacher early in my career, across the hall from me, very seasoned teacher, who said to me one time, Elizabeth, when you have a bad week, she said, anytime, if I've had a really rough week, because it's tough work.
It is.
She said, I send 3 positive emails on Friday afternoon. I need to walk out of here. She said, A, it makes me stop and think what were 3 good things from the week. But and B, she goes, every now and then you'll walk in Monday morning to a thank you, and it's enough to lift you into that next week. It's not about the thank you. It's about recognizing those positive things.
Right, just like we just said, it's about looking for those moments that make it all worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Share a moment that you've witnessed that might have been a little bit more large or a little bit more, because I know some of our viewers are watching this thinking, I don't even know that I can find the small things. What are some other things? A nice note, a nice email. What are some other things?
And I'm going to say right here, with those nice notes and those nice emails, save them.
I just did a podcast on that.
Right?
I just did a podcast on
Save them.
Have a basket. Yes.
I call mine, it's a folder titled Kissel Kudos, and you just drop it. It's not, and it's okay to do that, right?
It is.
It's not arrogant. It's not self-righteous.
Yes.
It's
Who
just
taught us that?
I don't know.
Again, I think that's an older generation of, we don't claim all the great things you do. That's your job, for pity's sake. You don't need to be thanked to do your job, but don't you do a better job when you're thanked?
And it feels good to look and know
does.
the lives you've helped, right?
It does. It feels so good.
When I think about those, now do you mean for myself or do you mean something I've
Doesn't
seen even in
matter.
a teacher?
It'll
Any
come to
of
your heart.
those? I've seen a young lady who had trouble integrating back into the classrooms and just had some anxiety that made mornings tough, and seeing her grow from points where we really had to have a team help her get into the classrooms to the point that she walks up and down those halls smiling. She'll pop in just to say hi and do things, and seeing that transition is a big one. One of the best parts for me of being an administrator, my favorite parts of the job, is you get to be that person parents come into and say, oh my gosh, can I tell you?
About that teacher. Yes.
Yes. And so the number of times I've seen parents on the verge of tears just saying, she changed my child's life, or he made him feel important enough to walk in each day. And the thing is, and listen, you know, former math teacher, I love me some school data. I could live in that school data. I love curriculum. I love best practice. When we have these conversations, it's about the relationships.
That's it.
It's about the connections they've made with the students. Even when I talk with students who tell me, I had an 8th grade boy a couple weeks ago walk in and say, this one was funny. He had just done morning announcements, and he stopped after. He said, by the way, I got to tell you, great hire on Mrs. So-and-so. And I said, yeah. And he goes, honestly, probably your best hire since you've been here, which I thought was the greatest comment ever from a 13-year-old boy. And then he proceeded to go on and talk about the subject. He's like, you know, I've taken that my whole life. And he said, but she just loves what she does. And like, she loves it so much that it makes it exciting to hear her talk about it. So I just look forward to going there because it's just interesting to hear
Great
it.
hire. That he was so smart that he knew she's there because of you.
Oh, I didn't go there, but thank you.
But that's it. That's exactly what he was saying. It's his indirect. It's exactly what you just said. It's those moments. That's a moment for you.
Yeah.
Which is, you've done a good job. You hired a teacher that I am connecting to, that I didn't like the subject matter, but you did that.
Well, and maybe that's the lesson that even as administrators, we still look for those moments too, and those connections.
Because I'm not sure you caught that connection till just
No, I
now.
didn't. I thought of it for her.
And it was about her, but he didn't go tell her. He told you.
Fair enough.
He told you. We might have just had a little moment ourselves right there, right? A little moment ourselves. Anyway, I think we sometimes don't get opportunities as administrators because they don't come. The hugs aren't there probably anymore. Like I said, I taught high school. That would be inappropriate for the most part.
For sure.
Although we got hugs. But, the world we live in today. But aside from a parent saying, they don't usually come to a parent, and maybe you have this experience differently than I. They didn't usually come to my office to tell me how great I was principaling. They came to my office to tell me how great one of my teachers was.
Yeah.
And so what I think, maybe that you, Elizabeth, may have just provided a great lesson that you didn't even realize that the Lord wanted you to provide, which is he didn't go compliment that teacher. Probably will. My bet is he loves that teacher and he's going to go back and compliment him. He came in to compliment you. Now, he did it in his manly way of, great hire, Mrs. Kissel, because that's about as we know. We know sometimes the age of boys, that's what we get. But that was all about you. That was all about you. So
I did not even go there, but
relish
thank
that
you.
for
I will.
the moment
I appreciate that
is.
perspective.
Because we don't see those. I was blessed enough as a high school principal to get those, as I said, when you do the grab and grin, and they squeeze your hand that extra moment when they're taking that moment where we're turning and smiling, and then they look to me and go, I just get that.
See, but that's it right there. It's those small things.
That's it.
So here's what I want to normalize with this, Cathy. In teachers' lounges, any school you're ever going to go into, right? It's a safe place to walk in, take a deep breath, vent if you've had a tough moment, because they have them.
That's right.
What I want to normalize is walking in and saying,
celebrating.
Right?
Look, so-and-so went down the hall today without any escort. Did anyone see that?
Look at because we do so much great work, but
We
it's
do.
so easy to get caught in the frustrations and the behavior management and navigating test scores and prepping for tests and all of those
Paying
things.
attention to state mandates, right.
And those things are grueling. But I think
Absolutely.
the more we're intentional and making it okay to say, I had a really great day today. I recognize this in I did this. I helped make, and teachers are too humble to do that because they don't do it for the glory. They're amazing, right?
But we're going to make a podcast just like today for that very reason.
Bring me back.
It's time to start celebrating.
I think so.
It's time to look at the little moments that you take as normal, but they're pivotal in a child's life because of you. Because of you. And it's time for us to start celebrating that. I wonder if what it would look like, as you just said, if we started to have workrooms full of celebrations, where we started I remember not often going to the workroom because I felt like I needed a shower when I left. You know what I mean?
I've been in buildings that were like that. I'm going to say, and I love the building I'm in so much right now, and we
do
just
have great teachers.
we do. They're
We do have great
fantastic.
teachers, yes.
They're fantastic, and they're good at recognizing those things, and they're good at telling each other, which I think is a huge piece too. Just that moment to stop, and we'll start every staff meeting, with kudos and just listening to the great things they say to each other. So I think that also goes to those moments that make it worthwhile. It's not always just from a student. Sometimes it's a colleague who stops and says, "Thank you. What I learned from you made my day better."
Thank you for covering me for just a minute to go to the bathroom. Thank you.
See?
Thank you for letting me go to the bathroom so I could actually teach the rest of the day. Just the little things.
Yeah, just those moments to stop and thank. I think as administrators, those moments to intentionally acknowledge the great work you see in the teachers too. So as much as we say when you think about those aha moments, most often it's what I saw in a student or what a student said to me. I hope that as an administrator, I can help provide some of those or tell a teacher, I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you had seen the way this child smiled when you walked away or what they recognized. I think one of the reasons I'm in the seat I'm in right now, I have a distinct memory of the first moment my administrative team, when I was teaching middle school math, came to me and said, "Hey, we're getting ready to do these learning walks, and we'd like to showcase something I had done in my classroom."
Yeah.
I was a young teacher at that point. I didn't know that what I was doing was worthy of other people,
right.
and I was in a large
We live
public.
in a bubble. We have no clue what's happening
Right.
outside of us.
But was in a large public middle school nearby, very high performing school, loaded with just so much talent, and the teachers around me that I remember going home and telling my husband, I don't know why they'd want to watch me. Well, afterwards, one of the things that they always did at this school is if you observed someone else, you always dropped them a positive postcard and let them know what you had seen in their room. And that was a moment for me as a teacher, I had no idea. But it meant something, and it set me down a
Bet you
path
have
of
some of them.
seeking leadership opportunities. For sure I do.
right.
But it resonates with me now in this role that I remember moments that administrators paused and gave genuine positive feedback, and words of affirmation tend to be the love language of teachers. It's what they do.
They are.
Right?
They are.
It's
the
what they
reason
do all day
teach.
long.
That's why they teach. That's right.
So
Well, as we wrap this episode up, I'm going to leave you with this challenge. I want you to share that story with your staff about your kudo that you hadn't even thought about. You could call out the teacher too. That's okay. But that you hadn't even, because I think we have to, as administrators, mirror what we expect them to do.
that's fair. That's a hard thing to do when it comes to
It
recognizing
is.
something that
But
happened for
we
you,
can't
though.
expect someone else to do something
That's
we're not
fair.
willing to do ourselves. So my challenge to you is that you call that out.
All right.
That it didn't hit me until it was pointed out to me, whether you mentioned me by name or not, that, yeah, they were actually complimenting me. And that not only are you a great principal, but you had a lot of great hires. They're all sitting in front of you.
Yes, they are.
They're all sitting in front of you. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, my
for
pleasure.
being a part of it. We really appreciate it. And thank all of you guys for watching. And we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic day.